How we doing? How we doing? This is Destination Denver, Colorado. And listen, we've talked a lot about the great, the good neighborhoods of Denver. Well, today we're here to talk about why you're wrong about the bad neighborhoods of Denver. And we're starting right now. All right, this is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Jim Everett. Listen, there are two things we try to accomplish here. One, we talk all things eating, breathing, living, experiencing the Denver Metro and Colorado Front Range. And two, as a licensed mortgage broker covering the entire state of Colorado and teaming with some of the state's most talented realtors, I'm helping people like you move here each and every day. So, in the comments, there's a link to connect with me. The number and email you see on your screen. Know that I am always the person. Answer your phone calls, answer your texts, answer your emails there when and if you need me. Now that we're done with that fun-filled stuff, let's get to what we're here for, and that is you are wrong about Denver's bad neighborhoods. All right, so as someone who has made almost 200 videos at this point about living in Denver, Colorado, I've covered a lot of areas, and people always ask me, where's the best places to live? But they also ask me, where's the worst? What are the bad areas? And I started to think about the fact that, and listen, this isn't a utopian video. You go to any town, any city, there are areas where people want to live, and then there are areas that are very distinct that people do not want to live in for a variety of reasons. But when people ask, what are the worst areas of Denver? And I think about what is the actual worst that I could see, that I've experienced, and what are the places that people say that they constantly talk about being the worst, whether they know what the heck they're talking about, or is it a reputation that at one point might have been accurate, sometimes not, but isn't anymore. So that's what we want to dive into, because some of the quote unquote bad or worst places to live in Denver are also places that people are flocking to for a variety of reasons. And so in this, again, being clear, I'm going to be very transparent in this, that there are areas that are going to have some good and bad to them. I always like to use Lakewood, where I live, as an example. There are areas of Lakewood where I am extremely suburban, not as much walkability as I would like, pretty safe, again, by all reasons, by my personal experience and by statistics. And there are areas of Lakewood that get pretty sketchy. There are areas of Lakewood that get pretty industrial, pretty lurky, pretty homeless and crime-ridden. So as we dive into that, let's talk about the first, and that is Commerce City, AKA the smelly one. And yes, I have some joking little nicknames for these. So the myth about Commerce City, and again, some myth, some reality, is that it's polluted, it's an industrial wasteland, it smells like dog food factory or maybe just oil, and that like you're gonna get a headache driving through it. Well, first you think about the name Commerce City, and there is some industry to it. And there is a dog food factory in part of Commerce City. And there are, again, these industrial oil complexes. And let's be honest, again, we talk about the fact that that reputation is earned. Sea City was built on industry. It's home to the Suncor Refinery. That's a massive polluter. And it's the original part of the city that's right next to it. So it's been the blue collar, working class backbone of the metro. And it's got these industrial scars that exist there. But the reality is the progress of Commerce City. And the progress you're talking about is two completely different places. So you've got old Sea City, again, which is Commerce City, that's industrial, it's working class, and yes, Suncor is still there, it's a problem. But then you've got New Sea City. You've got north of I-76. That is a different planet. This is, we're talking about Reunion. It's a massive, beautiful, booming, master planned community. You've got new schools, you've got new houses, you've got gorgeous rec centers, parks, trails. It's one of the only places in the entire metro where you can get a brand new build at a reasonable price. Property taxes aside, property taxes will get you in a lot of areas of Commerce City, but the price points are pretty solid. So, you hear Commerce City, but you're talking about two distinct different areas. And so Commerce City is going to be a great place for families who want a detached house, who, want a bit of a yard. They want a 5-bedroom, but they don't want to pay the price of a 2-bedroom on the west side of town. It's for people who, they're willing to be a little flexible in their proximity to Denver, because Commerce City is a bit of a drive. But there's a lot to like about Commerce City, and there's a reason why that community is growing as fast as it can. Next up on the list is Montbello, for some time considered the faraway one. So Montbello, these rumors you're gonna hear, oh, it's dangerous, oh, it's far away, it's like being out in Kansas, and that it's just a bunch of cookie cutter homes that were all built in the 1970s. And listen, the history, the why, the dangerous rep is from the 90s. In the 90s, you had a lot of news, a lot of gang activity out in Montbello. And realistically, it's an old, lazy stereotype that still exists. It's just stuck. It's far from the rep that where it is now. And as far as it being far, that is until the city, much like Commerce City, much like a lot of these communities, until DIA was built and the city started to grow in that direction. Areas like Montbello, areas like Green Valley Ranch, Commerce City, they were far, they were out there, but now with DIA, they're kind of in the heart of things. So a lot of that reputation, again, came from the 90s and outdated, and came from being kind of on the outskirts of the city, which is not accurate now. And so the reality is that this is arguably the last affordable single family home frontier in Denver proper. The houses are 70s, 80s, brick ranches. They've got yards, good sized yards. The community is incredibly proud and organized. And they fought for it, and they got a massive new town center redevelopment. The RTDA line, the train to the airport and downtown, is right through Montbello at the Peoria station. So very convenient to get you down to Union Station or over to the airport. One of the most used, of our light rail train runs is that A line. So you're closer to DIA than almost anyone. And then from a crime perspective, again, something that is brought up about Montbello, way down, assuredly way down from its peak. And in 2025, it's actually tracking lower than some of your, quote unquote, nicer neighborhoods like Central Park that gets tossed around. So a lot of these rumors, a lot of the details you're gonna hear, just pay attention to the fact of how many of them are current and how many of them are just historic smoke. And listen, this has been a great area for first-time home buyers. It's a great place for people who want a single family in Denver. They want to pay under $550,000. They want a yard for their dog. You're not afraid of a house that needs new carpet and paint. Good bones. You might do some updating. It's really a strong value. Sorry. And it's really a community of strong values. It's a really strong community to consider. And of course, we can't talk about bad neighborhoods and bad areas of Denver without bringing up Aurora, a town as it is. And the myth, to some extent, is that Aurora is the sketchy one. It's just endless strip malls. It's dangerous. Don't go to Aurora, period. And this is a great example of some of that is true. There are going to be areas of Aurora that you drive through, much like areas here in Lakewood that you drive through where you're like, I'm probably not going to be here after dark. I'm probably going to make sure that I know where I'm going to and where I'm leaving. It's going to happen in any city. Find me one where it doesn't exist. So Aurora does have some of that. The history about Aurora is one of the laziest that exists in Colorado. Aurora right now is the third largest city in the state. It's 160 square miles. That is massive. So this bad reputation comes specifically from the northwest corner of the city, the part along East Colfax that borders Denver. And this area has historically been high density, low income apartments, and the crime that comes with disinvestment. When you don't put money into a community, historically crime follows. And because it's so big, that label just got slapped on the entire city. It was an area to begin with, and then it just became, oh no, Aurora. Aurora is a pit of despair. And so the reality is, if you say you don't like Aurora, just as a blanket statement, that's like saying you don't like Colorado, that there aren't parts that you do like and parts that you don't. So North Aurora or original Aurora, this is A-Town. This is what you're thinking of. And it's also the most interesting part of Aurora. This is the international capital of Colorado. This is where, the food is unbelievable. You've got Korean barbecue, and you've got Ethiopian and Vietnamese and Mexican. It's home to the massive Anschutz Medical Campus, which has really changed that community. You've got multiple campuses on there, been a huge employer, a huge positive for the community, and it's a huge economic driver. So you have this diversity in this area that is really, it's the most diverse area in all of Denver. And there's a lot of reasons why people live there, travel there, go there. It's not because you go there with this sense of, oh my gosh, I'm in danger. That's just ridiculous. And I will say, I'll say it in any video, danger is anywhere. If you are not aware of your surroundings, danger is going to find you. So when people always ask me, do you feel safe in Denver? I do. I feel safe in 99.9% of the areas in Denver. I'm also aware of where I am. I'm aware of when it is. It's a lot different daytime and nighttime when I can't see 50 feet from me, regardless again of where I am. But safety is an awareness feature as well. And then you have South Aurora, a lot of these communities like the Southlands, Talon's Reach, Blackstone. I mean, these are some of the most desired communities in the Denver metro area. Again, with an Aurora address. This is a completely different universe from what we've talked about. This is prime, master plan suburbia. It's Cherry Creek School Districts, which is one of the best in the state. It's huge new homes. It's the Southland Mall, walking mall with its ice rink. And people are gonna tell you, and you can look up the statistics, it's nice, it's safe, it's very comparable in a lot of ways to Highlands Ranch, just farther east. And so who's it for? I mean, listen, South Aurora, if you want a great school district, you're into new builds, you want to be at a slightly higher price, that's gonna be an area that you're gonna look at. You're gonna go to North Aurora if you're a foodie, if you're a medical professional. A lot of my military families, active and veteran, live in that area. They wanna be relatively close to Buckley. Or if they're a first-time home buyer who's like looking for some value, wants to be near a light rail, wants to be part of an interesting community. I mean, there's a ton of people that are living in these areas. And building off of that, the last two areas we're gonna cover are not cities, they are streets. And the first one we're gonna talk about is Colfax Avenue, which has easily the worst reputation in all of Colorado. You ask people about Colfax, and odds are they're gonna say maybe a couple good things, but they're gonna lead with a lot of bad. The myth of Colfax is that it is the longest, wickedest street in America. It's just dive bars, it's motels that rent by the hour, it's drugs, it's homelessness, it's a mess. And here's the history behind that. So this reputation for Colfax was 100% earned. No denying it. And there are still stretches of Colfax that you're not going down. I used to operate a club along Colfax that I literally told my bosses I will not go to. So I wouldn't hide from this at all. But here's why this happened. So Highway 40 was for many years the east-west thoroughfare for the United States. It was how we got across the city of Denver. And then you enter I-70. And up until I-70 was created, everyone drove Colfax. It was the hub. It was the main artery of the city's counterculture, its music scene, its entire underbelly. And when I-70 was built, it sucked the money and traffic away, and it left Colfax to decline into this gritty, iconic, wicked street that it's famous for now. You had all these businesses and suddenly far less traffic than you had before because of the highway. And so the reality, and what I try to get through to people, is that Colfax is not just one place. We're talking about a street that stretches, far outside of the Denver metro area, but it goes through Golden, it goes through Lakewood, into Denver, over to Aurora, continuing farther east. So you have West Colfax, which is in Denver and Lakewood. And yes, man, it's gentrified. And that happened fast. This is your Sloan's Lake area. This is all new luxury apartments, condos, tap rooms. It's all new energy along that West Colfax stretch there. And then there's Central Colfax, which is right in the heart of Uptown and Cap Hill, which are two of the most desired neighborhoods for people who want to live in and around downtown Denver. And this is your classic Colfax. This is gritty, but it's our grit. It's our enjoyable grit. It's where the best music venues are, like the Ogden and the Fillmore. It's where the best dives are, PS Lounge, the classic. Go there. It's one of my absolute favorite dive bars in all of Denver. It's just timeless. And it's also protected by the community for its weirdness. It's just a weird area. And then you get into East Colfax, going into Denver, into Aurora. And this is really the last frontier. It's still the sketchy one. It's still the area that in a lot of areas, it's been abandoned. It hasn't been taken care of. Businesses pop up, they try to do some redevelopment, but it can just be a bastion. And because of that, you do see that the city is pouring millions into the Colfax BRT, that's the Bus Rapid Transit Project. And this is the next area that I think you're gonna see massive change. And again, I'm gonna tell you, we go to this area of Colfax all the time because it is the best, most authentic food you're going to find. You can make whatever jokes you want about that, but the food in that part of town is phenomenal. And so Colfax, whether you're West Colfax, East Colfax, central to the city, this is going to be the type where you want to feel some soul. You want to feel some character. You believe in keep Colfax weird. Maybe you're a musician. Maybe you're a foodie. You're a first-time homebuyer who wants to bet on the future of Colfax. That eventually East Colfax, much like, West Colfax in this area near Sloan's Lake, was kind of forgotten, abandoned for a long time. And I am, just to be very clear, not a huge fan of gentrification. I am a fan of progress. But these are the people that are looking into these areas. And our last area to cover today is MLK Boulevard, specifically around the Northeast Park Hill area. And listen, there's no good way to put this. This is the redlined one. And the history behind this, and this is an important one. We talk about redlining. I mean, this occurred in this area of Park Hill. 5 Points being another huge example. The bad rep is 100% rooted in racial history. And bring on the comments. I know it's coming. But MLK Boulevard, formerly 32nd Avenue, runs right through Northeast Park Hill, which is one of the only places that black families could buy homes due to systemic redlining. It was the only areas. 5 Points, another big area for it, this stretch of MLK Boulevard, where these families, these communities were pushed, basically forced. If you wanted to buy a house, here's where you were allowed to be. And yes, it also became the site of a lot of the gang activity in 80s and 90s. Again, we talk about how a lot of that reputation formed during that period of time in a community where, again, the city didn't pour into any investments. There was very little resources in the community. So those outdated reputations were formed in that time and continued. Now we get to the reality of what is occurring there. And the reality is this area is changing fast. You've got South Park Hill, which is where the old money giant mansions are. And then you have Northeast Park Hill, which is like what a lot of people consider the real neighborhood. This is where the homes are beautiful. We're talking these gorgeous brick Tudors and ranches. They're on big lots. They're far more affordable than the south side of Park Hill. The community is incredibly proud and organized. The Holly was redeveloped by the community into this peace and education center, which is fantastic. And yes, again, we use that term, gentrification is pushing in hard from Central Park. Central Park had this huge redevelopment. It's really pushing towards Northeast Park Hill, and people are realizing that the values of these homes and these locations are increasing because of that. So who is this for? This is for people who want a real neighborhood. You want a beautiful brick home with a yard. You're not afraid of an area with complex racial and social history. To be real, that is going to be part of this dialogue for years to come. And you're getting a Park Hill address and a home with character for a price that snobs in South Park Hill would kill for. And so I think the point that I would leave you with here is that as we talk about these communities, and listen, there are other areas of Denver that, again, are quote unquote bad. I cover, again, some of them in Lakewood. And it's fair to say that reasons for these reputations have been earned. A lot of them, especially when I talk about a Colfax, when I talk about, parts of Aurora, Commerce City, these reputations didn't come or weren't created out of thin air. Where they have progressed to, what has changed, what has evolved is crucial. So just be aware, in any community you look at, there's gonna be some phenomenal areas, and there's gonna be some areas that are less desirable. I just thought this is a great opportunity for us to have a conversation about some of the places that are forgotten, ignored, underappreciated to say the least in Denver, and some places that you might very well find right at home in. And listen, if I've missed some, you have any questions about these, comments, you got it. Here's my number and email. Know that I'm always the person, answer phone calls, answer your texts, answer your emails. There, when in if you need me. This is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm Realtor Mavericks. This is why you're wrong about Denver's bad neighborhoods. Till I see you next time. Peace.